Right, so good evening, all of you. Let's start the session, and I warmly welcome Dr. Avinash. And how should I call? How should I get them to call you? Doctor Uncle or Doctor Aya, or what should they say?
Aya is always better. I'm not that old yet.
That's how they addressed all the other judges as well in the previous sessions. So one Dr. Aya who used to be with me when he was very small. පස්සේ වෙලාවක ෆොටෝ එකක් මම ඔයගලගේ group එකට එවන්නම් when this Aya was very fat and chubby. But now he's very slim and he's handsome because he goes to the gym and he wants to keep fit. He was a former head prefect at Gateway College. He has done a lot of debating and this type of work, and he was one of my very best students. And I have to tell you one thing which I remember, which I always remember about him. That was when he was with me, he did not have enough books in my library to read because he was such a crazy reader and avid reader he was. මගේ cupboards දෙකක් පිරෙන්න තිබ්බ book collection එකේ he did not have enough books to read. He has finished reading all my books. Right? So that is one of the secrets behind his success, I suppose. And
Definitely.
so now at present he's working, he's a doctor and he's working in the Hambantota Hospital, Hambantota District Hospital, District General Hospital. Yes, and එතනින් එහෙ ඉඳන් තමයි දැන් මේ join වෙන්නේ because his අම්මි and තාත්ති are here in Sidua, right? And amidst all the work, he said, "No, Aki, I'll come and I'll do it." Kela, he generously accepted my invitation, and I'm very thankful to you, Avinash, because I know how busy you are, but you said yes, and you made it a point to be here on time as well. And
my pleasure.
Yes, so we are here to appreciate their work, right?
Yeah.
While giving them marks, let's give them a very constructive and a very positive feedback at the end. So, if possible, you can give them an individual feedback at the end, if possible. If not, you can speak in general when the session is over. Let's see how it goes. Okay, right. So switch on the cameras. I would like to take a picture before we start. And Tenula, Sayumi, Anohas, Netumi. Right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. Right. Okay. Right. Thank you. Now I want all of you to switch off the cameras. Right, only Avinash Aya's camera will be switched on, including mine. I'm going to switch off all the cameras and keep the mics muted so that we won't get distracted. Okay, right, so we'll start off with S&D. S&D, start Puta.
My parents didn't come yet. Can you give me 5 minutes?
All right, okay. Her parents are also doctors. So that is why. Right, then we'll start with Sayumi. Are you ready, Sayumi?
Yes.
Right, okay, start, darling.
A blessed evening. A blessed evening to you all. Have you ever witnessed the celebration of Bonfire Night? I have. It is celebrated each
year on the 5th of November. People celebrated by lighting fireworks and crackers. They also burnt effigies of Giulio Fawkes, more commonly known as Guy Fawkes. Do you know the reason behind this celebration? Well, the reason behind this celebration is none other than the gunpowder plot. What was the gunpowder plot? The gunpowder plot, also known as the treason plot, was a failed assassination attempt against King James I and his parliament. It was organized by Robert Casterbide, who was an English Catholic who was very rich and inherited all his father's wealth. He always spoke for the Roman Catholics. Other people included in the gunpowder plot were Robert and Thomas Percy, Christopher and John Wright, Thomas Percy, Giulio Fawkes, and of course, Robert Casterbide. How was the plot organized? Casterbide owned another house across a lane. There, they worked together to smuggle 36 barrels of gunpowder. The men also rented a cellar right underneath the room where the Parliament State opening was supposed to be held. Fawkes volunteered to be the man to light the fuse. However, as the November 5th state opening meeting approached, Lord Monteagle, one of the brother-in-laws of one of the conspirators, received an anonymous letter warning him not to attend Parliament on the November 5th. Monteagle alerted the king immediately. On the same day that Monteagle received the letter, Thomas Knyvet, a justice of peace, found Fawkes lurking in a cellar and ordered the premises searched immediately. Fawkes was found guarding 36 barrels of gunpowder at midnight on November 4, 1605. After being tortured for 3 whole days, he revealed the fact that he belonged in a Roman Catholic conspiracy where they had planned to overthrow the present government with Catholic leadership. All the men were attacked. Casterbide died by a gunshot. All the other men were not so lucky. The remaining conspirators were hanged, drawn, and quartered, and even cut open when they were already alive. Fawkes, on the other hand, committed suicide by killing himself as he was heading to be hanged by jumping off a ladder. How did the gunpowder plot change the world? The Roman Catholics were given some respect but were still blamed if anything bad was caused. The Roman Catholics were too allowed to vote. It is because of the gunpowder plot that we are able to celebrate Bonfire Night today. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Saimi. Okay. Lituli Bandara. Lituli Bandara, are you ready, Puta?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, start, darling.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to talk about COVID-19 impact to the world. Let's see what is COVID-19 pandemic is. In late 2019, early 2020, from a city called Wuhan in China, an outbreak of a new virus discovered. The virus was named as COVID-19. It had a death rate between It had a death rate between 1 to 4%, but the spread was happening at an alarming speed. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms such as fever, dry cough, tiredness, or having breathing difficulties. This virus is mainly transmitted through droplets generated when an infected person coughs or sneezes. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you are standing close to someone who has COVID-19 or by touching a surface that has these droplets and then your eyes, nose or mouth. Now let's see how COVID-19 pandemic is impacting the world. Put travel bans to cross countries, but this did not stop the virus spread. Some countries were totally locked down. This negatively infected economy. Sharp rise in employment and fall in production of industries. It challenged long-held view of safety of the Western developed countries. It will be changing the power balance of the world. Many countries turn to source from their own in-house supply chain. Online dependency of people went high in shopping, banking, academic. Let's see few more impacts of the pandemic to the world. New working models were introduced, such as work from home, online part-time. Small-time businessmen and daily wages earned people lost job security. People reduced their leisure and unwanted expenses for the future security. More health-conscious food and living styles were adopted from majority. Kids were badly impacted with limited contacts of their same age and distance studying methods. Discipline in public gathering was spoken strongly and new guidelines was introduced. Dear teacher and my dear friends, we have not yet come to an end of this pandemic and do not when we could. Till that time, do not let your guard down. Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you, Lituli. Abhisha, are you ready, Puta? Abhisha, are you ready? Abhisha, are you ready? Right, okay. Abhisha, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, start with it.
Good evening, everyone. There are many significant events that made the world change. Six-Day War is one of the biggest incidents that made the world change. What is the famous Six-Day War? The Six-Day War, also known as the June War, Arab-Israel War, or the Third Arab-Israel War, which was fought between Israel and Jordan, Syria and Egypt for a period of 6 days. Something similar to what we see in recent world news, the war between Israel and some Middle East countries. When and where this took place? This war took place between 5th to 10th June 1967 in Middle East region. So what is the reason for what started the Six-Day War? The road to war was paved by the growing tension in the area since 1963
over the issue of exploring the waters of Jordan River and the Kinneret Lake. This led to an escalation of military clashes initiated by Syria and to an increase of Palestinian terror attacks against Israel encouraged by Arab states, particularly Syria. What happened during the Six-Day War? When Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Syria, and Lebanon moved their forces towards the Israel border, Israel mobilized its reserve forces and launched a diplomatic campaign to win international support to end the Egyptian blockade of Israel shipping through the states of Tehran. An Israel ground offensive was also launched in the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights, the Gaza Strip, and the West Bank. These territories were all captured by Israel, though the Sinai Peninsula was later returned to Egypt. You might wonder how it ended. In the Six-Day War of June 1967, Israel defeated the combined armies of Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, capturing the West Bank, East Jerusalem, the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights, and the Sinai Peninsula. Why is the Six-Day War a significant event in the world calendar? Because a small country defeated a mighty nation during a small period of time. It is a sweeping victory for the Israelis. They overran the enemies, gaining control of the Sinai Peninsula and the city of Jerusalem, which is sacred to both Muslim and Jews. Last but not least, what are the learnings that we can get from this incident? The Six-Day War teaches us an important lesson about preserving freedom, national mobilization, and unity, bravery and real leadership, and secure success, both civilian and military. The story about David and Goliath is a good example for this. So learn to believe of what you have, focus your strengths, know your enemy's weakness, and never underestimate your enemy. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhisha. Right. Tenula, are you ready? Tenula?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, start, Puta.
Good morning, my teacher and my dear friends. Today I am going to talk about Pearl Harbor.
Tenula, we can't hear you, Puta. Tenula, your mic is muted.
Pearl Harbor is an American lagoon harbor on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, west of Honolulu. The U.S. government first obtained exclusive use of the inlet and the right to maintain a repair and coaling station for ships. The surprising attack by the Imperial Japanese Navy on December 7, 1941 led the United States to declare war on the Empire of Japan, making the attack on Pearl Harbor the immediate cause of the United States' entry into World War II. The attack commenced at 7:48 a.m. Hawaiian time. The base was attacked by 353 Imperial Japanese aircrafts, including fighters, naval and dive bombers, and torpedo bombers, in 2 waves launched from 6 aircraft carriers of the 8 U.S. Navy battleships present. All were damaged, with 4 sunk, but USS Arizona were later raised and 6 were returned to service and went on to fight in the war. A total of 188 US aircrafts were destroyed, 2,403 Americans were killed, and 1,178 others were wounded. Japanese losses were light. 29 aircraft and 5 midget submarines lost, and 64 servicemen killed. The attack USS Arizona was the second and last of the Pennsylvania class of Super Dreadnought battleships built for the United States Navy in the mid-1910s. The ship herself was designated a National Historical Landmark on 5th May 1989. Upon their death, survivors of the attack may have their ashes placed within the ship among their fallen brothers. The attack on Pearl Harbor was later judged in the Tokyo trials to be a war crime. Pearl Harbor attack. Its most significant consequence was the entrance of the United States into World War II, and I think it helps directly and end of the World War II. Before finishing my presentation, I would like to present thought of Albert Einstein, German scientist, about the war. War is what happens when language fails. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought. Only the dead have seen the end of war. Thank you, my dear teacher and my dear friends.
Thank you, Tenula. Nelinsa, are you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, start, Puta.
Hello everyone. Today I am going to present about the creation of the internet. Introduction. The internet has turned our existence upside down. It has developed so far as nowadays everything depends on the internet. The internet started in the 1960s as a way for government researchers to share information. The first workable prototype of the internet was created with advanced research projects against the network. The history of the internet has its origins in the efforts to build an interconnect computer network
that arose from research and development in the United States. Mr. Bob Kahn and Mr. Vint Cerf are known as the inventors of the Internet, but Mr. Tim Berners-Lee is mentioned as the inventor of the Internet. Even though Mr. Bob and Mr. Vint are known as the inventors of the Internet, they are not famous as Mr. Berners-Lee and they are not much mentioned. Mr. Tim Berners-Lee worked as a computer scientist. His parents are Conway Berners-Lee and Mary Lee Woods. Here is his wife, Rosemary Lake. And here is Tim Berners-Lee's parents. He is an employer of the World Wide Web. We called it WWW, Consortium and University of Southampton. Even though the Internet was invented for military and government purposes, it has expanded for various purposes now. For example, Internet used for online teaching, online jobs, online banking to communicate between two parties through various video conferencing ways. This is the first computer in the world. And this is the first laptop in the world. Here are some uses of Internet. For it, Skype or any other way can be used to communicate with our loved ones through Internet. Through this, there are many advantages and disadvantages for people. Let's talk about advantages first. First one, Internet has made our connectivity faster and stronger than the old ages. Second one, it benefits us to have communication throughout the world in seconds. The Internet is helpful for career counseling. It helps in promoting culture. Fifth one, Internet helps us to have travels and tours throughout the world. Sixth one, Internet helps us in online banking, e-commerce and industrial growth. Seventh one, based education efficiently. This happens nowadays due to COVID-19. Now let's talk about some disadvantages of Internet. The Internet addiction has destroyed social values and respect of elders. Second one, even small kids and teenagers has been addicted for online games due to this act. They fall mentally and they have to face many sicknesses. Third one, due to Internet, many people fall into trouble. Example, kids and even young people can be bullied to social media. Fourth one, the studies of students are affected to social media and online games. Fifth one, Internet can be used to misuse people. Sixth one, Internet reduces the income of a person due to the Internet charges tax. As the Internet is so popular, about 4.66 billion active Internet users are found worldwide. Internet in the future could be even more revolutionary. The current IoT was already connect our house appliances such as fridge, alarm clocks, and coffee machines, and so on. Social media allowed us always to keep in touch with each other, and YouTube provided us with infinite amount of videos both for entertainment and education. If Internet disappeared, all of a sudden, text messaging would be unavailable. All mobile apps and social networking sites would be disappeared. Without Internet, the world will lost many income to the country. Also, economic of all countries would fall out. It is very hard to live without Internet. Internet has been a part of every human's life. A person without internet is similar to a person with thirst. It has been excavated that in the future many cyber attacks would damage all connections throughout the world, done by experiments. We are pretty lucky to have unlimited internet connections, and if you are living with no internet at home, it would be like a bad day for you. Especially due to this COVID-19, we are bored at home, so internet is the best solution for that. Students can go on with their studies due to the help of internet. Not only that, even our parents also can do their jobs through online accordingly. Internet has been a part of humans' life. No internet is no e-commerce, no smartphones, etc. I would also take this opportunity to remind the people who are scolding that they are doing their day-to-day activities due to internet. I agree that there are bad and useless things as well in the internet. It's the user's choice to select the path to follow. Without internet, it would like the old traditional methods of communication in the past, like sending faxes or to use landline phones for conversations. I have more to speak on this topic, but as the time is going on, I would like to conclude my speech saying that without internet would be a person in a desert. Thank you.
Nagido. Thank you, Nelinsa. Esandi, are you ready now?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, start, Puta.
A very warm evening to the respected judge, Dr. Avinash, and my dear teacher. Today, I'm going to speak about the tsunami attack in 2004. Tsunami is a Japanese word. The meaning is harbor wave. Tsunami are waves caused by the movement of the ocean surface due to earthquakes, landslides on the seafloor, etc. Tsunamis are most commonly generated by underwater earthquakes with a magnitude greater than 6.5 on the Richter scale. These waves may travel for thousands of miles. They may move as fast as 800 kilometers an hour. As they approach a coastline, the waves move more slowly. They also rise often to heights as great as 100 feet. How much danger and harm to property and human will happen is depending on the position of the country. We all have heard that people have experienced this tsunami in the ancient history, also in King Callimachus' time. Do you know that the tsunami in 2004 was happened in 26th December? So it is also known as the Christmas Day or Boxing Day tsunami. Tsunami of December 2004 caused by a 9.0 magnitude earthquake is the most infamous tsunami of modern times with disastrous consequences in many areas. It affected more than 80 countries in the world from Southeast Asia to Southern Africa, killing more than 250,000 people in a single day and leaving more than 1 million homeless. This tsunami in 2004 inundates a coastline. It has a range of direct and indirect economic and social impacts on the world. When we talk about the direct impacts, the major direct impact is psychological impact on affected people. They have lost their parents, children, close relatives, and due to this, most of the people are still suffering. Other impact is loss of properties that belongs to the people and that belongs to the country. Most of the homes, buildings, harbors, ports, highways, and vehicles, etc. were destroyed completely or partially, and it directly affects the economy of the countries in many ways too. Loss of business is one of the major issues due to machinery damages, destruction of stores,
etc. And due to damages of ports, harbors, and roads, the export of the countries was also affected much. When we consider about the indirect impacts, when this kind of a huge disaster is happened unexpectedly, it is affected on the health and other services, and it is badly affected on tourism due to most of these affected countries are popular tourism attracted coastal areas. Due to this disaster, most of the beaches are damaged and tourist hotels were destroyed. Environmental pollution due to this is another bad aspect. These regions are still at risk from the devastating effects of a future tsunami due to the presence of tectonic interactive plate. In 2004, absence of a tsunami warning system in the Indian Ocean and lack of established communication network providing timely information to that region caused that much of destruction. Now they have developed an IRIN with the goals of creation of an early warning system for the islands in the Indian Ocean and ensuring adequate equipment to manage natural disasters, including tsunamis. Time to time, they are doing tsunami rehearsals in susceptible coastal areas and regularly checks the early warning system. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Thank you, Vasanthi. Right. Lituli Gamage. Avinash, there are two Litulis. The previous one was Lituli Bandara and now Lituli Gamage.
Okay.
Lituli, are you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Right, start, Puta.
Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about a person who changed the world. You will know him as Alexander Fleming, the penicilling man. Sir Alexander Fleming was born on August 6 in 1881, Locksfield Farm, Darwin, Ayrshire, Scotland. Died in March 11 in 1955, London, England. Scottish bacteriology, best known for his discovery of penicillin. Fleming had a genius for technical ingenuity and original observation. His work on found infection and lysomy and antibacteria, enzyme found in tears as a lever, guaranteed him a place in the history of bacteriology. Fleming was the seventh of 8 children of the Scottish hill farmer, third of the 4 children from his farmer's second wife. His country up in the southwest Scotland shaped his capital city for observation and appreciation of the natural world at early age. He began his elementary schooling at London Moor and then moved on to the larger school at Darwin before enrolling to the Kilmarnock Academy in 1894. In 1895, he moved to London to live with his elder brother Thomas, who worked as an oculist, and complete his basic education at Regent Street Polytechnic. After working as a London shipping clerk, Fleming began his medical studies at St. Mary's Hospital Medical School in 1901, founded by scholarship and a legacy for his uncle. There he won the 1908 Golden Medal as top medical student at the University of London. At first, he planned to become a surgeon, but a temporary position in the laboratory of the introduction department at St. Mary's Hospital convinced him that his future lay on the new field of bacteriology. And immunologist said Thomas Edward White, whose idea to vaccine therapy seemed to offer a revolution in medical treatment.
In 1928, at St. Mary's Hospital, London, Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. This discovery led to the introduction of antibiotics that greatly reduced the number of deaths from infection. Part of the medical revolution that would change the life, especially of people in developed countries around the world. Alexander Fleming's discovery of the first man-made antibiotic has saved countless lives. As usual, there are more to the story, but in addition to changing medicine, it also changed the curse of warfare. Up until that point, most soldiers tend to die from infection than from battle wounds. The World War II was the first war that allowed those infections to be treated successfully, thanks to penicillin. Sadly, our abuse of antibiotics had led to even worse infections that are resorted to modern interventions. Fleming was recognized for that achievement in 1945 when he received the Nobel Prize of Pathologist of Medicine, along with the Australian pathologist Howard Waller Floria and German-born British veterans Ernst Boris Chain, both of whom is tolerant and prefer penicillin. Thanks for listening to my speech. Have a nice day.
Right, thank you, Lituli. Rehana, are you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Start.
The pandemic which changed education forever. The pandemic, COVID-19, is a contagious disease caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome virus. The lungs are the organs most affected by COVID-19. Currently, more than 177 million cases reported in the world with 3.8 million deaths. Most of the countries are on lockdown due to the spread of the virus. Experts encourage their citizens to work from home and learn from home. Between 2017 and 2020, the worldwide e-learning market increased by 200% at the value of $250 billion. And by year 2025, it's expected to reach well over $300 billion. What is e-learning? E-learning education is a type of distance learning, taking courses without attending school or university in person. Benefits of e-learning: flexibility in time, lower cost, comfortable learning environment, wide range of educational courses, scalability. Lectures can be taken any number of times. There are two types of e-learning: synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous is when a teacher and student direct simultaneous contact. Zoom, Microsoft are some examples of synchronous learning. Asynchronous is when instructor and learner do not meet in one time space. YouTube, lynda.com, Coursera are some examples of asynchronous learning. Disadvantages of e-learning: only few people take admission, high rate of students leaving the course, not focused, low level of eagerness to participate, less rules and no control over students. How COVID-19 changed learning? COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut all across the world. Over 1.2 billion children are out of the classroom. As an alternate, e-learning is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms.
Research suggests that online learning has been shown to increase retention of information and take less time. The changes COVID-19 have caused might be here to stay. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you for listening to my speech. I hope you all have a good day.
Thank you, Rehana. Tehara, are you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Start, Pata.
Good morning. Today I'm going to talk about extinction. An extinction event is a widespread and rapid decrease in biodiversity. One examples for extinctions. And mass extinctions are usually associated with organisms that are macroscopic rather than microscopic. Here are some examples for these extinctions. The Permian extinction, marine species, Cretaceous extinction, Ordovician extinction, and the Triassic-Jurassic extinction were species such as dinosaurs and more. Causes to many extinctions. Mass extinctions happen because of climate change, asteroid impacts, and massive volcanic eruptions of these causes. These eruptions and the fall of a big meteor. Effects of many mass extinctions. The role of mass extinction in evolution. At the most basic level, mass extinctions reduce diversity by killing many species like lineages and with them any descendant species they might have given rise to. In this way, mass extinction prunes branches of the tree of life. Now we're going to talk about the Cretaceous extinction. The Cretaceous extinction is a geological period that lasted from about 145 to 66 million years ago. In general, the climate of the period was much warmer than the present climate. Throughout most of the period was a cooling trend apparent. This period was known as the Age of Dinosaurs. Modern birds are one kind of dinosaurs because they share a common ancestor with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, which are now extinct, varied greatly in shape and size. This is the most dramatic extinction Earth has ever seen and was the end of the dinosaurs and many animals. Now let's talk about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are a diverse group of reptiles of the clade Dinosauria. They first appeared between 243 and 233.23 years ago. There were 700 different species, but there are many more new dinosaurs to discover. Here are a few names of dinosaurs: the Tyrannosaurus rex, the Triceratops, the Stegosaurus, and the Brontosaurus rex. The Tyrannosaurus rex is a genus dinosaur and a very mighty dinosaur. Like T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus lived throughout what is now called as Western North America on the island continent known as Laramidia. Its height is 3.7 meters to 6.1 meters. Its 4,500 kilograms to 8,000 kilograms. Its speed is 27 kilometers per hour. Can you imagine its speed? Now we are going to talk about the Stegosaurus. The Stegosaurus is a genus of herbivore, four-legged dinosaur. This armed dinosaur was from the late Jurassic period. Its weight is 6,1800 pounds. Its family is Stegosauridae. It eats cycads and moss, which were from the Brachiosaurus. The Brachiosaurus is a dinosaur lived in North America during the late Jurassic period. Lived about 153 to 154 million years ago. Its weight is 25 metric tons. Its family is Brachiosauridae. It eats trees, ginkgos, and cycads. These food are from the late Jurassic period, like the Stegosaurus. Now we have reached the end, but we are going to end with one quote. Fantasy should be as close as possible to journalism. This was called by Dino Buzzati. Thank you. Stay safe.
Right. Anuhas, are you ready?
Yes.
Thank you, Tehara. Anuhas, start.
Good morning, my dear teachers and my dear friends. Do you know with over 2.41 billion users, what's the world's most popular social media platform? It's Facebook. Do you know which country has the highest number of Facebook users? It's our neighbor, India. Do you know how much time a person spends on Facebook? It's 34 minutes. Let me share how Facebook profoundly changed the history of the world with you. What is Facebook? Facebook is a social network website where users can post comments, photograph, and post links to news or other interesting contents on the web like chat live and watch short form video. The inventors of Facebook. The inventors of Facebook are Mark Zuckerberg and his roommates, Dustin, Eduardo, Andrew, and Chris. Early days of Facebook. It was launched as The Facebook on February 4, 2004. The website membership was internally only to Harvard School students, but it was expanded gradually most universities in United States and Canada. By September 2006, to everyone with a valid email address along with an age requirement of being 13 or older. How Facebook changed the world for the better. Keeping in touch with family and friends, sharing news, expressing yourself, and instant communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuhas. Netumi, are you ready? Netumi?
Yes, madam. new world order until a woman is part of it. Good afternoon, my dear teacher and my dear friend and our special guest. I'm going to deliver a speech about a historical event that changed the world. It is none other than women's suffrage. First, let's see what is suffrage. It is our right to vote and appoint a leader to build up the people's lives. Then let's see what is women's suffrage. It is the woman's right to vote and appoint leaders to build up the woman's life. Before women's suffrage movement, women were looked down upon socially, economically, politically. People think their sole purpose in life was to cook, clean, and look after the family. Women's suffrage was carried to men. Men think that women get power could change the way of life of men. There are two organizations for women's suffrage. The first one is the National Suffrage Association. It is formed in USA on 15, 1869. The main leaders were Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. The second one is the American Women's Suffrage Association. It is formed in Boston in 1869. The main leaders were Lucy Stone and Julia Hardway. In 1890, the two organizations merged together and make a new organization called National American Women's Suffrage Association. They use tactics and techniques of women's suffrage. Using lobbying and petitioning, they pressured office holders to change existing laws to limit women's right to political. Lucy Burns planned large and elaborate suffrage parade for Washington. The first American suffrage parade took place in 1908. March 3rd, 1913, the day before Woodrow Wilson's inauguration, the National American Women's Suffrage Association sponsored the first National Women's Suffrage pageant. In January 1917, Alice Paul and the National Women's Party became the first people to ever picket the White House. What are the movements for women's suffrage? 1840, holding a women's convention in US in 1840. They have started the fight for women's suffrage. The main reason was for that there were two special women are prohibited to participate for the Wool Anti-Slavery Convention in London. In 1866, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony formed the American Equal Rights Association. In 1872, Susan B. Anthony and 15 other women were arrested for illegally voting in the presidential election. In 1890, they formed the National American Women's Suffrage Association. 1893, New Zealand becomes the first state to grant a woman right to vote. 1920 is our historical event that happened. After approved 19th Amendment, they changed the laws and gave right to women to use their vote. What are the dark sides for women's suffrage? Arresting, frightening, hunger strike, and facing injuries. They refused food in the prison and went for hunger strike in the prison. They faced a risk on deeply damaging and serious injury. Who won women's suffrage? New Zealand, the first country in the world in which all women had the right to vote in 1983. The 19th Amendment in USA Constitution granted American women the right to vote. Women in Sri Lanka were granted voting right in the year 1931. In September 2011, King Abdullah granted women the right to vote and stand in 2015 multiple elections. So, what is our responsibility? So finally, here majority of girls, please remember this is a very important event for us because in the future we also getting our right to vote locally as well as be internationally. I would like to remember, girls, use your right in the proper manner in future. Otherwise, it will not be fair who fought and sacrificed their lives to women's suffrage. Thank you very much for listening to my speech carefully.
Thank you, Nitumi. Right, and we have Nulara.
Lara, get up. It's 4:30 in the morning now. You will be late for your school. And get up and quickly be ready for your lessons. In school, few months back, this was my life in the morning. But now, Lara, get up. It's 6:30 in the morning now. You will be late for your online lessons. Have you ever come across this differentiate? No doubt. You will have come across this kind of situations. Earlier, we were busy with going to school, doing sports, going to classes, playing with friends, and many more like this. But 2020 global pandemic shut the world down. Our daily life changed. Workplaces were empty. People stayed indoors. One of the things that rapidly changed is the education. Schools closed, universities closed, and began having online lessons and exams through online too. As per the UNICEF, countries use different online distance learning techniques such as TV programs, government-supported online platform, radio learning programs, SMS, mobile technology or social media, printed take-home resources for learning, other digital platforms for self-learning, and other at-home visits. We use different software to facilitate this learning. Zoom, WhatsApp, Viber, Microsoft Teams, and many more. Now we stuck in houses, living with modern technological online learning. We get so many benefits by switching to online learning. Time saving, cost saving as no traveling cost, access to wide pool of knowledge, no geographical barriers for online learning. For children like us, there are immediate effects of the COVID-19 pandemic regards to mental well-being, social well-being, and physical well-being, as no classroom interaction with teachers and friends. For new generation, social interaction, social communication, benefit between each other is essential to learn soft skills. But due to coronavirus outbreak has changed, having schools online, some sports practices online, and also aesthetic subjects are performing online. Poor people having no facilities even do not get their online education. Children are the most important asset in our globe, and we are tomorrow's youth and the future. Do you believe in it? So why don't you think of it? But we have no choice to protect ourselves, to have a powerful world. We must get together and fight with this. We must not allow the pandemic to put full stops in our lives. We have to get together and overcome which harm us. Be strong, have courage, and overcome this. Over to you.
Right. Thank you, Nulara. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anybody? No, right? Okay. So, Avinash, we are done. Now it's over to you.
Yeah. Can you give me just 2 minutes? Aku?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Just give me some time.
If possible, select first, second, and third. You don't have to announce the marks that they have scored, but you can comment on their performance. Avinash, I would like to introduce another very special guest. She was listening to a few speeches. Hansati, that's also one of my students, and another MUN and a debater. She's the one who did 2 sessions yesterday, and she said that she would like to come and listen to the speeches today as well. Okay, you can go ahead with your work, Avinash.
All right. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
I think I'm okay.
Right,
So,
so start.
yeah. So first of all, I'd like to speak to all of y'all. I mean, in general, I was so impressed and I was blown away by the depth of the topics that you guys actually chose. I mean, that's something that really, really surprised me. I mean, 11, 12-year-olds talking about topics that have such an impact on the world these days was just something that was so inspiring. And it felt really nice to know that this is the future generation of our country and of our world. I mean, first of all, I'm like really proud of you guys for choosing these topics and talking about them the way that you did.
Good.
Yeah,
Switch
all of
on
you.
your cameras so that you can see. We can see you. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, now I'd like to move on to, individual performances. So let's start with Sayumi. Sayumi spoke about the gunpowder plot, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Sayumi, yeah, you were excellent. You captured your audience really well, and I was really impressed by the way that you interacted with your audience. I mean, you really made it a point to get your point across to the listener. I mean, that's one of the most important things about public speaking, arguably even more important than your vocabulary. Doesn't matter how many big words and big sentences you use, if your listener doesn't get the exact point of what you're saying, then it doesn't become important. But the fact that you were able to use good vocabulary and even then maintain a good contact and maintain a good engagement with the listener was something that I was really impressed with. All right, a little bit of critique. I thought that with your ability, you could have chosen a better topic, because I felt that you could have chosen a topic that had a bit more impact on the world. But really, that was the only thing that only small negative thing that I had to say. Everything else was really good, and really good, Nangi. I was really impressed by you. Okay, moving on. Next, Lituli Bandara, right?
Yes.
Yeah, who spoke about COVID. Yeah, Lituli. Yeah, first of all, I think you really grasped the topic as well. The topic is historical events that that impacted the world, and none more so than COVID-19 we're talking about. And since it happened, I mean, it started almost more than 1 year ago. We can consider it still as a historical event. So the fact that you chose COVID and you were able to really draw an importance to the severity of COVID and the impact that it has had on our socioeconomic structure was something that I was really impressed with, especially at your age. Things that you could work on. I think that you could work on your flow. Your flow could be a bit better, and when you're speaking, it could be more natural. I mean, that's one thing that I want to tell everyone, because it doesn't like you don't have to. I mean, your vocabulary is still improving. That's completely fine. You're going to read more books and you're going to learn much. You're going to learn much more complex wordplay in the future. But the most important thing is to use simple language, language in a very effective way. Because the most important thing about public speaking, as I said earlier, is how you interact and how you engage the audience. So a little bit of improvement on that could be done from your end, and then you'll be really, really good in the future. And I'm really happy that you chose to talk on this very important topic. I mean, it's definitely a challenge to talk about COVID, because it's something that everyone knows about. So the fact that you chose that and you delivered was something that was really inspirational. So very good, Lituli. Next, Abhisha. Abhisha spoke on the 6-day war. Wow, that was that was something pretty incredible, to be honest. To speak about something that's so complex. I mean, an issue that has been going on for so many years, for so many decades, and for you to choose a topic that complex and still manage to sort of explain it to a layman, and for them to understand how the Middle East has changed, how I mean, basically, 6-day war was how Israel got its foothold in the Middle East. So the fact that you managed to sort of talk about that so well, and it was something that was really, really amazing. Because I remember even in school, when we learned about the 6-day war, I think we were in A levels, and you're in grade 7, grade 8, and you're talking about that, and something that's so complex, and the fact that you were brave enough to select it and you were smart enough to understand it, which is the most important thing, to understand how the significance that country like Israel still managed to hold off all of the other important economic powers in that region. And that's basically changed the entire geopolitical structure of the Middle East from that point on. That was something that was incredible. The fact that you got it. Okay, things to improve on. Your presentation could have been a bit better. But yeah, your presentation could have definitely been a bit better. So a little bit of improvement to be made there. And again, I would prefer if you had a good flow, a good introduction, a good, you provide a good base on which you can build up your speech on. So you need to improve on your flow a little bit. What else? And also, yeah, you need to improve on your interaction with the audience as well. That's something that's really important. And most of you, especially the guys, especially the boys, didn't have their cameras on while the presentation was going. I was a bit, you should have had your cameras on, because I think the little girls managed to really, punch their points in, so that was something that's really important. So next time, there's something like this, there's inevitably going to be more events like this in the future. I'd like suggest all of you to keep your cameras on as well, along with screen recording, because that really helps to prove your point. And again, like, really awesome choice of topic. I was really impressed. I was impressed with Tenula as well for choosing the Pearl Harbor. Yeah, that's again something that's kind of overlooked, I feel, about how the Pearl Harbor actually led US to join the war, and that led to the Allied powers winning World War II, and that completely changed the entire complexion of the world from that point onward. So again, a very, very good topic selection. I really liked it. Yeah, again, you could feel a bit more natural, Malli. You could feel like the thing about presentations and reading of presentations is that I would prefer if all of y'all had these important sort of like flashcards in your presentation, not the entire thing that you're going to say, but these important points that you just want to get into your head. And once you read that point, once you read that point in your mind, just speak openly about it. Forget about the fact that it's a speech. Think about it more as a discussion. When you think about public speaking, it's more of a discussion where you're reiterating your thoughts, you're reiterating what's in your head, and you're trying to put your point across to someone and make them see it from your point of view. So if you have these little sort of things, that little clues that remind you of what to speak on, for example, just the basic subtopic that you're going to speak on, and one line about that, and then for you to like continuously keep speaking about that in different points of view, it's something that's more effective than just reading the lines of text that's in the presentation. So that's little something you have to work on. But anyway, very good topic choice, and I was really impressed by you as well. Next, Nelinsa spoke on the internet. Again, Nelinsa, the internet, and about how it has been a historical event that changed the world. I felt like you could have chosen a better topic, but the fact was, even though you chose the internet, you did quite a justice to it, because your presentation was pretty good, and your flow was also pretty good. I mean, I could clearly see that there was a beginning, a middle, and a nice end, and it was built up very nicely. There was a good climax, and then it ended very nicely. Things that you need to improve on. Again, you didn't have your camera on, so that's very important. Again, I mean, the fact that we can see your face, the fact that we can see how passionate you are about what you're speaking, that's another thing that's very important. I mean, you could be deficient in a number of areas, but your passion can really come through and can really impact on how the listener interprets your speech. So again, I would want you to have your camera on the next time you do a speech. And pretty good. Next, Lituli G, right? Lituli G spoke on penicillin. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Lituli Gamage. Yeah, Lituli Gamage spoke on penicillin. Yeah, another very important topic, and I think you grasp the concept of this point very well. It was indeed a historical event that changed the course of medicine and the course of healthcare for generations to come. So yeah, I think it's a pretty complex topic as well, but you approached it with quite a lot of finesse. Again, you needed to have a better flow. You needed to stop relying so much on your slides and just rely on the things that you read about, the things that you read and the things that you understand. Just if you present them in a comprehensive and in a way that everyone can understand. That's the most important thing about public speaking. I mean, that's the beauty of it as well. You don't have to use all of these huge words and this very complex vocabulary, but you just need to use simple language to get your point across to the listener. So yeah, I would have preferred if you use more of your own words and more of your own imagination when talking. But yeah, everything else was good. And yeah, I think that you can improve a lot. And then the next time you present on a similar topic, I think you'll be very, very, very good. So yeah, keep working hard. Rehana spoke on e-learning. Yeah, Rehana, the e-learning is an interesting topic choice. I would have preferred if you chose something else, but even though you chose this topic, you really, really, really did a good job on this specific topic. Mainly, the use of your pronunciation and the use of your pauses when you were talking. That was something that I really, really liked in your presentation. Made it a point to pause, and you made it a point to pause so that the listener could understand, okay, you just said something that really matters, something that makes an impact to the listener. So yeah, I really like that. And it felt like you were capturing the audience as well. Again, I would have, if you had again had your camera on, and so that you could have used your expressions and your gestures as well.
Got stuck.
Itself was very elegant as well. It was very well done. I really liked it. So yeah, next, wait, Esandi spoke on the tsunami. Am I correct? Yeah. Esandi, you were phenomenal. You were very, very, very good. No, honestly, because your topic, I liked your topic choice as well. The fact that about how the 2016 tsunami impacted us in so many different ways, impacted not just us, the entire South Asian region, and the fact that you understood that was number one, and the fact that you actually made sure to include so much of information about not just Sri Lanka but about the other countries and about the general event as well was something that really impressed me. Your language was very, very good, and you used the appropriate pauses, and your gestures were very good. It helped to keep the audience involved. I mean, you never felt like you're bored when you're listening to it. So that was something that I really, really liked. What else? Your presentation was also good. It could have used a little bit of work, but it was good nevertheless. And your flow of speech was also excellent. I mean, there was a good beginning. There was a good introduction. There's a good climax. I mean, you came to a good climax, and then the way that it ended and the way that you gave a good conclusion was also something that I really, really appreciated. So very well done, Esandi. Next is Tehara, who spoke about extinctions. Oh, another very interesting topic choice, but I liked it a lot. I mean, it definitely wasn't a conventional topic choice, but I like the fact that, you took historical and you just went like all the way back like 75, 65 million years ago, and you chose the, different 6 mass extinctions that took place. Yeah, I think the fact that you talked about dinosaurs also helped to make it very interesting as well. So I'm sure a lot of people found your presentation very, very interesting because it spoke of dinosaurs as well. Again, I felt that you could have, because I felt that you were passionate about the topic, but I felt that you could have just not relied on the slides as much and just spoken out of your heart, out your own language. I mean, definitely you would have something really cool to say about a T-Rex, right? So I would have preferred if you just used your own language and spoke about that as well. Because because the actual content of your presentation was good. There were a few grammatical errors and some spelling errors, if I'm not mistaken, but those things are really minor and you could correct them. So just like have a look at your presentation after and just see if there are any things that you can see and if there are things that you can improve, and just read the presentation again and just correct yourself, because the best way of correcting yourself is definitely to self-critique. Look at your own mistakes and see how you can become better, because there's no one better for you to learn than from yourself. And that's a very effective way when it comes not just to public speaking, but everything else in general as well. So yeah, interesting topic, and I really loved it. Next, Anuhas spoke about Facebook. Where's Anuhas? Okay, yeah. Okay, your presentation was really good, Anuhas. It was really nice and I was very engaged, but it then ended so abruptly. Yeah, what happened?
That's Anuhas. That's Anuhas.
Yeah.
Typical of
I mean,
Anuhas, very short and sweet.
I was really enjoying it. The presentation was good. It was clean. It was prepared. I mean, this was sort of presentation that you would expect from like a 16, 17-year-old. I mean, it was elegant. It was so elegant as well. And then all of a sudden it just ended. So definitely you need to work on your flow, the flow of your presentation. I mean, even if it's short, that doesn't matter. But as long as you have a proper introduction, you build it up properly, and then you end it in a nice way, then that matters. Because the fact that it being short wasn't my problem. The fact that it ended so abruptly, that was because you were doing a fantastic job right until where this ended. So yeah. So the next time, Malli, make sure that you have a good, even if it doesn't matter if it's short, make sure you have a good flow. Just say it to yourself in your head and just feel, okay, is this ending too soon? Will people expect a little bit more? How even if it's short, how can I make it interesting and make it feel like an ending? It's like it's like a story that's left on a cliffhanger. So definitely you need to work on that. But other than that, up until it ended abruptly, it was very good. I was very impressed. Next is Netuni. Where's Netuni? Netumi. Yeah, Netumi. Netumi spoke on women's suffrage. Wow. Aki, can you imagine an 11, 12-year-old girl speaking about women's suffrage? That was definitely one of the most passionate speeches that I have ever heard. Not just from 11, 12-year-old, from anyone in point. Because I was so impressed by I felt that you were passionate about it because you really understood the subject matter. And that's something that's so hard to expect from 11, 12-year-old. And the fact that you presented it so well, and you were at some points you were even aggressive, and I love that. I mean, that's how you should be. Not, I mean, it's a good quality to have for a girl, especially considering the topics that you spoke about, because you will be someone who's able to hold their own in the world and to always stand up for themselves, and that's something that's very, very important. So I was so impressed, and your presentation, your organization, the organization of your speech was excellent as well, because I could understand the origin of the suffrage movement, how it developed over the years, and how it has affected our world nowadays, and how the results of it. I mean, even Saudi Arabia, in your speech, you mentioned that they got the women got the rights for municipal elections in 2011. So, I mean, your speech really was it was amazing. I was blown away. I mean, I don't have anything, but I don't think I have anything bad to say about your speech. I mean, it was really good. I was very, very, very impressed.
I don't have to that because I really do want to talk to her. I was telling Andy too about the fact that yes, it's amazing that you as an 11-year-old was talking about a topic as important as this, especially because you were willing to go down to the books and the paper. Because these days when we talk of women's rights, it's just one post on social media. Just really, it goes from mouth to mouth. And the fact that you sat down and looked at the history of the suffrage movement, that is really amazing and well done. I really hope you continue speaking that.
Definitely. I mean, I was so impressed. Next was Nulara, I think, who also did a presentation on e-learning. Nulara, okay. Again, interesting topic choice. I would have preferred a more, a more substantial topic, but it's okay. You did justice to your topic. I felt like, again, you could have your pronunciation and your use of pausing was very good. But again, you didn't have your camera on, if I'm not mistaken, so you couldn't really drive your point across. But I felt like if you had your camera on, you could have delivered it even better. Other than that, you did have you did have your camera on.
Yes.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, you did. No, yeah, but you didn't use many gestures. I mean, you I think more focused on reading off the slide, I guess. But you didn't use much gestures. I mean, I felt like you would have looked up at the camera, looked at your audience, use your hands more, really, drove your point across. So you could have done a little bit more of that. But your overall use of, I say that because your use of pronunciation and pausing and all of that was very good. When you, even though it is mostly just your voice, you were still keeping the listener engaged. One more thing I would have liked to see was, again, more of your own thoughts, and your own iterations of the topic. And this is something that you can speak so much about. I mean, you guys are the ones who are experiencing it firsthand. So just talk about how it makes you feel. Just think about how it makes you feel, and just take your time and slowly form a nice, comprehensive speech about that. Because I felt like you could have talk much more about that. But anyway, you did a very good job as well. And again, not an easy topic to tackle, especially in the current times, because any topic that's that's very popular is something that's you have to research a whole lot more. You need to look, you need to think about what other people think about the topic. And the fact that you organized it all and delivered it was something that was really nice. And to everyone, I felt like you guys put so much of work into this. And I know that all of your schedules are so busy and you have so much of schoolwork and so many Zoom classes and homework and everything. And still you guys had the time to really go into the depth of your topics and research and talk about all of this. Was something that was so inspirational. And yeah, you guys work so hard, and I'm so glad that you guys presented it in such a good way, because that really shows you the results of hard work. And like the places or the marks you get doesn't matter at all. The only thing that matters is how hard you work and the fact that you feel like you improved. And I'm sure that everyone who joined us today, they improved in more than one way, definitely after the experience that they had today. And that's the most important thing. It's like improving day by day. Yeah. So Aki, do you want me to
yes, please, if you can announce the winners.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
okay,
let me say one thing.
Yeah.
If you are not a winner today, that does not mean that you're a loser, right? It's just that according to what Aya says, you need to try a little bit more harder and do a little bit better next time, right? That is the meaning of this position. Nothing else. It does not mean that you are a loser, or it does not mean that you are bad in public speaking, right? And I'm so thankful to Avinash for that beautiful feedback, and very positive and very constructive, right? And I think they learned quite a lot from your feedback. And please remember what Aya said, and please do remember that if you don't win today, you are not a loser. You have not lost anything. You have gained a lot. It's just that, as Aya says, and I will also be adding to the same, you have to do a little bit better next time. That's all. Okay? Right. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so for first place, we have a tie, actually.
Okay.
We have a tie between Nethuni, who talked about women's suffrage, Nethumi, and Esandi, who talked about the tsunami. So a round of applause to both of them. Very well done. I was so impressed by both of you young ladies. And for second place, it's actually Sayumi, who talked about gunpowder. Where's Sayumi? Yeah,
Sayumi.
her camera is off. Well done, Sayumi. You were the first, and you really, like, you just blew me away from the start. I was like, oh my God, this is the standard that I need to expect from 11, 12-year-olds. So
10 and 11, not 12 actually, 10 and 11.
10 and 11, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Very well done, Sayumi. And for third place, we have Rehana, who talked about e-learning. Very well done, Rehana. So yeah, I'm so proud of you, all of you guys, and everyone else. I mean, all of your marks are like sort of just separated by each other by like 5 or 6 marks. So all of y'all are like so close. Y'all are all at the same level. And remember that this isn't losing. I mean, this is simply a constructive activity. And even if you do lose, you should view losing as something that's exciting, because losing means that there's something left for you to work on. There's always something for you to get better. Because if you just win and win and win, you just lose all your competitive spirit. I mean, remember, like, you have something to work on, you have something to get better, and that is the most exciting thing about life. The fact that you can get better every single day, and you should really learn that at like a really young age, so that you will never view losing as a step back. It can only be a step forward. So I'm really proud of you guys for having the courage to do this, especially over Zoom. I know that it wasn't easy. I know that you guys had a lot of schoolwork, and even though I took my time off, I'm so glad that I actually took the time off to do this, because it was something that was so refreshing, and it's so awesome to see what our future generation is going to be like.
Going back in time also,
in the future,
right?
I know that, yeah.
Going back to school.
And yeah, I miss school so much. I mean, these are the best years. Like, these are the best years of your lives, guys. And I'm sure that you guys are making the maximum and taking the maximum out of it. And the fact that how you all perform and how you all talk and your attitudes and the knowledge that you have about world real life issues real life scenarios. That's just something that's amazing. And you guys are going to do so great in the future. I'm so proud of each and every single one of you. Keep flying high. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much, Avinash. Thank you. And thank you so much for taking time off your busy work schedules. And thank you for that beautiful feedback. And nice having you, Avinash. And this is after like about almost 5 years that I am
5
seeing
years.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's Dr. Avinash once again, joined today all the way from Hambantota District General Hospital. And he was a former student of mine, one of the students from my very first batch, and the naughtiest in the batch. And he was always either on the table or under the table. He would go sneak under the table and pinch girls' legs. So that's how naughty he was. That's how naughty he was. But I have to tell you that he did not have enough books in my library to read at some point, and he has come this far. And if you go to his profile and read his profile, you'll understand. He was very chubby, and now a former Urdu Kumara as well. And so thank you so much, Avinash. I'm so glad that I invited you, and thank you so much. I really appreciate. Right. Okay then.
I really loved it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Akki. Thank you so much for giving me
Thank
this
you, and well done, all of you. Well done. Okay then. Bye. God bless you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. God bless. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye, auntie.
Bye.